Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our exciting panel discussion on Web3's extension into the physical world, the convergence of open hardware and decentralized applications. My name is Ivy. I'm the founder of IoT think tank and Open Infra Capital. Over the past decade, I have been observing the transformation and exploring how the digital technologies transform our physical infrastructure and how to transform our physical world. Today, I think we are at a very important point where Web3 finally meet with our physical world, meets with the real world. So today we have an exceptional panel who are pioneering this convergence. Let me invite each of them to briefly introduce yourself and your organization. So, Leo, would you mind to start?
Hello everyone. My name is Leo Lin, co-founder of Arkreen. So Arkreen is a deeping energy project. We connect the global renewable energy resources like the solar panel, the battery, and try to using the on-chain protocol to monetize those energy assets. And myself is also quite focused on the promotion the IoT and the blockchain integral innovation, and also the deepening the ecosystem in this region. And quite honored to be here to discuss this very interesting topic.
Okay, I know Arkreen have some groundbreaking achievements. Let's talk about later. So please.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniil Liberman. I'm co-founder of Gonka AI. And Gonka AI, we originally came to the idea that AI can use blockchain and particularly Bitcoin's framework of financing infrastructure to build the infrastructure for future decentralized AI. If we want to actually enable the future to be open source and open and freely available for everyone to use AI equally.
Okay, welcome Daniil. Audrey, please.
Hello everyone, I'm Audrey, and nowadays we are preparing for the Ethereum Applications Guild, which is to bring the whole ecosystem, Ethereum ecosystem stakeholders together, no matter the institute, companies, projects, layer 2 foundations, and lots of the universities and communities together, and also its treasury company together to support the and accelerating the whole Ethereum applications. And also, we are prepared for it, so it's very glad to discuss with the panelists here and the audience to more about the open hardware topic. And also, for Ethereum applications, it have so many different aspects. So open hardware is a very important aspect, and we are also preparing for some working group on the open hardware. So it's very glad to discuss with all of you.
Okay, thank you, Audrey. Tomasz, I know you have delivered a very impressive presentation. Would you mind to introduce yourself again?
Hi everyone, I'm Tomasz Stańczak from Ethereum Foundation. I'm a co-executive director at Ethereum Foundation. And particularly in this topic, I think the next 10 years of Ethereum will be lots of conversations about open hardware, about the embodied AI and AI coordination. So agentic AI, embodied AI coordination with Ethereum. And I think it will be an exciting time to see a lot of founders building on Ethereum ecosystem with these technologies. Particularly the topic of the open hardware is also very close to Vitalik Buterin. He's been publishing recently blog posts on the topic, on the fully verifiable and open stack, something that is very critical for the future of our privacy, security, and ability to participate in the global economy.
Okay, so as you see, we have a perfect mix of all the panelists. So let's dive into our discussion. My first question is when we talk about Web3 extending into the physical world, what does this actually mean? How is it different from traditional IoT or smart city initiatives? Tomasz, please, you first.
Probably partially we just continue the same conversation from many years ago. It's evolving. Probably as well AI development in recent years just opened for us much more opportunities to reinvent the category, to reinvent how blockchain and physical devices can operate. We've seen some of the more successful decentralized physical infrastructure projects in the last years on various networks, and that reignites the interest in the category. So I think there's not that much difference between how we talked about Internet of Things and now we talk about embodied AI and sensors and all of this coming together. Just probably there's more and more need for decentralized data to be available for the on-chain agentic AI to take decisions, aggregate, learn from it, and we have all the pieces coming together finally.
Yeah, very fundamental perspective. Audrey, please.
Yeah, I think the most important difference from the traditional IoTs or smart device to the nowadays we are talking about the open hardware is that the decentralization and the trustless. I think we still remember that something happened in last few days, the AWS down. So it affected lots of the service. Actually, I think the half the world service affected by the AWS down. But we could still see that Ethereum still run very robust and sustainable, and because of the decentralization. So that is the main point. I think it's most different from the traditional way, because the traditional way, no matter the smart device, the smart city, or different kinds of the large IoTs, and they are more centralized by one company or one organization. So it's a main point, and it is how the decentralization, which is our crypto value, is very matters most. It's not based on one single point of the failures, which is because of the decentralization.
Okay, Daniil, please.
Right, I think that we can look at the current stage of this conversation through the prism of probably AI mainly, and the part of decentralization. Let me restart it again. I think there are two particular angles. One is financial angle, and the other one is control, privacy, and data angle. In the conversation of physical embodiment of Web3, of like what is decentralized networks can bring to the current state of the infrastructure. From the financial perspective, this is an involvement of millions, if not hundreds of millions of individual retail investors in believing what product they would want to use in the future, and therefore bidding for this product with actual dollars. Financing the building, financing some of the early stages of those initiatives rather than the final product, which was financed by the traditional investment. This is from the financial perspective, and that's what Web3 clearly, blockchain Web3 clearly can bring to the infrastructure building. And then from the privacy perspective is like, as was already mentioned, as soon as we're tapping into AI, we all expect to use different agents, and that the agents are not going to be only used by us, but they are going to be sort of even equal participants of market, of different services and stuff. But the question will always be who is running the code of those agents and how much they actually affect the results of the agent's decisions. Because as soon as we, let's say, give the agent ability to make bets on the market, to have access to our bank accounts, to, I don't know, decide what we're going to eat, to provide us with healthcare decisions, decide what we're going to buy as well. Like, because like advertising will sort of shift towards the product producers communicating with our agents instead of us. Like it's not us who are going to be viewing the advertising, because it's going to be agents viewing the advertising for us, like deciding what is the best for us, because they will have more data points to analyze. And therefore, whether we can fully trust to the agent in terms of making these decisions for us, or cannot because they are run by someone who actually have their own interest in what services and what product to sell us, this is going to be a big question. And decentralization in general can bring this answer to this question, like who controls the decisions behind the AI agents. And those decisions are going to be really embedded into the physical world because there's going to be self-driven cars, there are going to be robots doing services, the cameras everywhere are going to be analyzed by the agents. Like, we are moving towards a world where decentralization probably is a solution against the self-interest of those who provide the services, and therefore trust from the user's perspective.
Yeah, very thought-provoking. Maybe we could discuss this agent thing later. So, Leo, what's your opinion about this difference between the traditional IoT devices and the new one?
Yes, so we are seeing in the past several years the Web3 technology, and those community coordination try to expand to the real world, especially we call the physical infrastructure, the category. And if we're talking about the large IoT application or the smart city project, which is always we call the top down. It's led by the corporate or the government, which will raise the huge fund and take a longer time to build this physical infrastructure. But in the past several years, we saw more and more, the Web3, the project we call the DePIN, the Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. So they are using the global community coordination and also the incentive model to build and to own this physical infrastructure. That gives the very, I would say, the sexy way, right, to think about. We can also build the physical infrastructure bottom up from the community, and built by community and owned by the community. So that is the quite the exciting part. And recently we also see in the token 2049 Singapore, the Vitalik also talking a lot the hardware. He launched this initiative called Open Silicon, and also put this as his long-term primary focus to promote this open source verifiable hardware. That is very good and can encourage the whole community to do more the innovation and exploring how to using the hardware and combine with the Web3 technology and build the more the valuable the physical infrastructure with this valuable utility. And additionally, we saw the Dr. Shao and the Vitalik also, and Audrey also launched this the EAG, and there's a special the category called open hardware. So we saw more and more the opportunity, and we can using the hardware, the open hardware, using the Web3 technology, and create the more valuable the physical infrastructure application in the field.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I have one question. It's not officially launched. It's more kind of like the proposal for the whole community to collaborate together. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So I agree with you, Leo. I believe that open hardware is a better name than DePIN because DePIN is too long. So many keywords there, but open hardware is very easy to understand. So Leo, my question is, I want to discuss with you is about the examples. Where are the most compelling real-world implementations you are seeing today where it is convergence already delivering value?
So yeah, we see quite a lot, the valuable the use case, using the hardware with the Web3. Yeah, so showing the real value and the real results. For example, the leading deeping project called Helium, they using the 500,000 the community member to deploy the 1 million, the LoRa base station globally, and have this IoT connectivity, the infrastructure. And the demo is connecting the vehicles car data, and Arkreen, our project is connected the energy the devices and using the on-chain protocol to monitor the energy, the asset. And Weather XM deploy the weather station and aggregate the weather, the data for the more accurate, the prediction. The GeoNet deploy the RTK. It's a very professional device and to offer the high precise location services. So, beside those kind of, the ongoing project, we saw the more and more the industry expert, and it's not the traditional Web3 guy, and it's coming from the industry, and also thinking about using the Web3 technology combined with the hardware to deploy the more interesting the application. And this is quite the exciting journey. Yeah, the combine the hardware and we call it decentralized OS or decentralized the blockchain protocol together.
Okay, so let's move on to Daniil. I'd like to talk more about artificial intelligence, as you have mentioned about how to control this agent thing. So my question for you is, you also could talk about your examples on the open hardware field. And I also like to know what's your opinion towards how does AI integration change the game for this open hardware world?
That's a really good question. So I think that the obvious one, and there are so many examples in my mind, so I'll try to, the obvious one and the most exciting for me is robots, obviously. We are going to be surrounded by robots doing different services everywhere. I think that maybe in 30 years from now, every human being will have a robot, something like this. So when we move there, we can see that there are likely going to be some hardware physically locally on a device in the robot, but a lot of the mind of the robots, a lot of the compute behind the making decisions and having the access to the all the knowledge of their humanity will be outside, will be in the cloud. So building both physical objects in place which are going to be interacting with us with different services like robots or cars or cameras or I don't know, light as well, controlled by understanding the environment. All the IoT promise which we had in the past today might become reality because of AI, because sending the signal back to the cloud to control intelligently control what is needed in the location in terms of access to the specific device changes everything. Changes everything to the extent that probably it was missing part of the IoT promise. The robots is an obvious one. If we're going to be speaking with the robots, are robots going to be understanding us? Are robots going to know everything about us, our past, and this interaction likely will not be able to fit in the memory of the robots in front of us. Therefore, we're going to cloud, and then this cloud, as I said, if we want this to be private in terms of us giving access to our private data to the robots and stuff, then decentralization is a key role here for the infrastructure of this. But I envision this for everything beyond this, to the communication, satellites or towers, cellular towers. There are examples already of the decentralized physical infrastructures, Pollen Mobile, like build this, I think they build this in San Francisco, LA, and maybe in New York, build a decentralized 5G mobile network powered by the users who are buying pieces of the hardware, and then there's a blockchain on the background of this. AI is just like moving this ability towards more and more appliance. Like I doubt that we can call the robot appliance, but more and more devices surrounding us.
Okay, got it. So Audrey, what's your opinion towards where this open hardware delivering value? Do you see any specific applications? And also, could you share more about the mission of EAG? It's pretty new.
Yeah, and I think nowadays we could see a lot of use cases, no matter the Ethereum, and for the traditional, just like the Faircoin or the Array, they just provide the storage layers for the whole ecosystem. But for the open hardware, I think it's still in a very early stage, and we need to have more, no matter the openness or the open stack or the open framework to connect, coordinate with different devices, something like that. And nowadays, I think because it's still in a very early stage, the coordination between the different devices, the different kinds of, no matter the cars or camera or something like that, it's very important to have the open framework. So that's why for the Ethereum application skill, it's more like, because nowadays we could see that for the future of we could imagine that for the more about the robotics or the AI will bring billions of new devices on chain, which is the future that we could imagine. So, you know, that's why for the EAG, the open hardware is a very important topic, because nowadays we could see that for the total human of the total amount of human in the world is 8 billion, but the new devices and the new, no matter robotics or different kinds of devices and the AIs, it will bring, I think, more than hundreds of billions of the new IDs on chain. So no matter we could use different kinds of ZKID, and it will bring more data on chain. So it's a very important topic for EAG to have the more topic on the open hardware. So for the EAG, it's just like we said before, it's the very open coordination layer for the whole stakeholder of the community. And we want to, because nowadays, you know, we are in the bull market, but a lot of the communities and the education, and also lots of the events in the whole ecosystem, they are very struggle. And maybe I think for the next 2 years, it's even more struggle for lots of the communities. Because, you know, if we want to have the whole ecosystem have the sustainable growth, and we need to support more education from the local area or the local regions. That's why we want to bring all stakeholders in the whole ecosystem to have a more structured way to have the funding pool to support the education part from the communication, from the communities, and also to accelerating the applications, no matter it's from a device side and also from the software side. Yeah, so it's a main goal to EAG to have the structured funding way to support more community, more education, and a more sustainable structure for support the whole Ethereum applications ecosystem.
Yeah, very solid. I'm learning. Tomasz, have you seen any interesting application of open hardware in your Ethereum ecosystems? And another question is, I'd like to know, how do you ensure the hardware integrity in Ethereum, on Ethereum? Because maybe there are some failure or error actions there.
So far I've seen the projects in the Bay Area that were playing with the robots on Ethereum. I would say usually what you see is the Western companies borrowing, like buying or borrowing the Unity robot, sticking on the robot a sticker with the logo and talking about building robotics. And this is because they want to go towards that space, but they know that the main product is maybe coordination via blockchain, but you need the robot somewhere to attract a lot of attention to the product. It works. If you come to the events, if you bring robots, they walk, they wave to people, and they dance. This works. So I would say it's very early days on the coordination of robotics. People talk about cobots. I'm interested in that area. Like it's something that maybe is less fancy. Cobots are just these arms that are maybe making coffee, maybe helping with the meals preparation. But it seems like some type of economy, a vending machine-like economy that can be very easily multiplied and financed on blockchain. So it combines the investment in deployment and franchises. And projects in that direction, they appear on Ethereum, but are very early phases. The coordination of robot swarms, very early, things like open mines in the Bay Area. I think we are at the stage when we really, really have to connect the teams in Hangzhou and Shenzhen with the innovators, with the builders of startups, and understand blockchain, and that will be the beginning of a lot of fantastic innovation and a really, really nice generation of applications on Ethereum. For now, it's really barely starting. So I think it's very encouraging for many people who join the blockchain space now to say, oh, I can do something fun, and nobody yet built that. And I think many founders now will think that either that nobody is building it because it doesn't work, or it's like too hard, not ready. But the truth is everyone who is looking at it now is probably very early into the space. Everything is very clunky, like the robots builders really have their own troubles to tackle. There are not that many open source robotic systems. There is the ROS system, so the open system for controlling robots. All of that is not yet integrated into the blockchain space too much. So I think anyone joining and pushing for it now will be really benefiting from lots of attention and lots of like leadership, thought leadership in the space within 1, 2, or 3 years maybe. So that's the main thing. What do we do? Because it's so early, so I think that just a gentle push from the Ethereum Foundation can help a lot. So coming here and saying, connect with people, maybe in the Bay Area and San Francisco, lots of fantastic AI people and the startup environment. Connect between Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Shenzhen. Connect with the finance teams that are looking for builders here, and they're having lots of funding for innovation in Hong Kong. So that's probably our role, to build those communities, to tell people, you know, this is your time. Now is the time to build. It's coming. There's lots of strong believers in it. Vitalik talks about open hardware. People asking what is being built in Shenzhen and all around the world. That's the role of Foundation. Connect, detect the trends, and think that this really matters, because we see clearly the vision for Ethereum, where that coordination of robots and financing of robots and collecting yield from robots, whether it's farming, whether it's meal preparation, whether it's maybe in the future healthcare, some basic healthcare, all of that is coming, and it'll be monetizable, and it'll be great Ethereum economy and coordination.
Yeah, lots of input, very interesting input. So for this moment, I'd like to know how many of our audience is doing hardware-related development or tasks. 我们的观众有没有和硬件开发，或者是就是我们讨论的这个 open hardware topic 相关，在做硬件开发的，有没有举手 ？Raise your hand if you are doing related open hardware related jobs. Higher. Wow. Okay. Maybe you could prepare your question later at the end of this panel discussion. So let's talk about money. How do tokenomics work when physical assets and maintenance are involved? What sustainable business models are emerging? Leo, please.
Yeah, so the hardware is cost money, so it's we call it a capex, and the deploy and maintain the hardware. We also need some OPEX, right? We need the people in the field. So in the past, we call the centralized physical infrastructure. You should take care of the amount, the investment for the capex, OPEX. And always, the lead by the large, the organization, the corporate or the government. But today we see the model, right? The Web3 driven model. We can, using the community, the community coordination and the community member, we call community builder, right? They can buy the hardware, they can deploy the hardware, they can maintain the hardware. So using this way to offset the early stage, the CapEx, OpEx. So we think it's a very good way. For example, like just I mentioned right now, the Helium using the $500,000, the community builder to deploy the 1 million, right, the hotspot. So this way, we think it's a kind of a complementary solution to help the whole, the world, the society to accelerate to the digital transformation, because we think sooner or later everything will be digitalized, right? But take the money and take the time, and the Web3 way or the dipping model can help to accelerate this digital transformation. So that is the very valuable the model. And the other thing is, the token economy. It's a differentiating token economy. So once the network is grow, and if there are more, the demand side, more, the usage, then you will consume more, the utility, and the token, the value will be increased. So those are very valuable, the token economy, and also the deepening those community coordination model can really help today's real world, right, to be accelerated to the digital transformation.
Okay, got it. I just have a look on our time limits. We only have 2 minutes left, so maybe we jump to the final question to deliver your opinion towards next 3 or 5 years. How do you judge the future of this open hardware?
I would say that the major thing which I believe we will see in the next few years, 5 years likely, is the innovation in AI chips, in the chips which will be solely focused on solving the inference of models and maybe training of the models, but like inference in the first part. And the design of those chips, we see the thesis as that Bitcoin was a financial framework in a sense to finance people who were building infrastructure of data centers filled with the chips, which are doing mathematics. Yes, in some sense, this mathematics of the Bitcoin ASICs was sort of useless because it's just like wasted. But the future of decentralized AI will look like a lot of chips in the data centers, and then the designing the architecture of those chips can be heavily financed by the similar decentralized financial framework as Bitcoin actually financed the production of ASICs. So what I would expect is that the next 5 years can show us a real competition of the open source protocols and the open market of decentralized networks, chips for AI networks will actually outbeat and outcompete the current leaders of the market like NVIDIA. What we can see if the ecosystem, if the market of decentralized, of blockchains, if the Web3 market will figure out the protocols to finance the development of those chips.
Okay, thank you. Then, Audrey, please.
Just as I said before, and I think that in the later 5 years, we're just at the beginning of the whole devices, the AI things. And for the next 5 years, there will be billions of the devices on chain and bring more data on chain. So we are still at the very early stage. So it's very important is to have the coordination, open coordination for the whole ecosystem, have the open standards and the different kinds of open coordination between different devices, which is very important because we just don't want to went back to the traditional AI or smart devices. That's why blockchain exists, and that's why for the open source and all the openness of the coordination, we could build on each other's effort to bring the whole ecosystem forward. And we are still in a very early stage for this kind of situation. So it's very important to open coordinate and the openness of the whole devices here. And the second thing is that for the last decades, we built a lot of the infrastructures, especially in the Ethereum ecosystem, and we have a lot of tools and lots of the infrastructures that nowadays, which is very useful for different kinds of the tools and the real applications to deploy on the on the Ethereum. So it's a good time for the next decades to bring more applications, and it's a time to build more applications on Ethereum. Yeah, so let's build together and collaborate together on it.
Okay, Tomasz, what's your vision towards next 3 years?
Next few years, definitely all the projects from Vitalik that are dedicated to open hardware, the full open stack of verifiability probably will get a lot of attention, a lot of funding from Vitalik himself, and so I'm really betting on those. Second thing is the massive solutions for massive data collection, decentralized data collection to train robots, to amplify the data for training AI models, collecting from humans the voice data, the movement data, sensoric data, and so on. That probably will be driving a lot of deep in the AI projects. And then obviously next few years, integrating robotic systems, cobots, robots, into the networks where you can have payments and yield collection from robotaxis, from farming, from various services, daily services. So this will be treated as real-world assets for your generation.
Okay, so thank you for sharing your expertise and vision. So to summarize, Web3's extension into the physical world is happening now, and it's never been a better time for jumping into this field. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.